What's up, guys? We got another episode for you today. This one's going to be all about nutrition on the road. If you're new to the channel, everything that you see here is going to be about how to make your tours more financially sustainable, better logistically, and now better health-wise, too.
I'm Chris Avita. I play bass in the same band as Chris, and I like to work out with Chris. He's my best bud, and we're basically the two people in the band that work out when we're on tour, so...
This is the 5 nutrition tips for touring bands.
So tip number 1 is to bring a shaker bottle and supplements so that you're always able to make that shake after you work out. So I personally don't bring a shaker bottle on tour. I should. Chris does all the time, and he's always drinking protein shakes. It's probably the best thing you could possibly do because you're not always able to eat 3 or 4 meals a day on tour, so Chris is able to get in his protein and his nutrients through shakes throughout the day.
Something that has been very important for me is that, whether you are lifting or not, it is important to make sure that you get enough of basically the 3 macronutrients, which are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. When I'm out on the road, I typically try to get at least a third of my diet into each bucket. And generally when you're on the road, it's going to be hard to find enough protein in your diet unless you are specifically looking for, protein-rich meals. And for me, that means every morning I fill up my shaker bottle with protein, and I try to find protein-rich foods throughout the day, whether it be at gas stations or, at diners. And the reason why getting enough protein is important is because it helps with muscle synthesis and recovery. Even if we aren't lifting in a gym every day when we're on tour, we do like to do push-ups, sit-ups, just anything you can kind of do to keep your body physically active. Maybe you go for a run in the morning, but any of these activities will break down your muscles, and the protein in a high enough quantity will help your muscles to recover, and that way you can gig harder and feel better traveling and sleep better at night.
On this tour, I didn't bring protein. I brought a creatine monohydrate. So I don't know if I'm wording this correctly, but it's really good for muscular endurance. It's good for keeping up your strength. And for Chris and I, at least, we lift heavy and we lift really hard when we do find a gym or whenever we're working out. So we need something like this to help us keep going. Tip number 2 is to not drink every night when you're on tour. I chose to do this one because I have drank every night on this tour. I love beer, what can I say, but don't do that. I'm going to stop doing that one day soon.
When you are in a touring band, it is very easy to come across beer, whether it's, on your rider in the green room, or you are hanging out with friends after the show, or you're at the bar down the street. It's pretty much a given that if you're in a band, there's going to be, alcohol in some sort at most places that you go to, so it will be very tempting and it will be very readily available. As someone who cares about their physical fitness and physical health and nutritional intake, it is, important to be wary of what you put into your body. In particular, alcohol does impede muscular growth, so that is something that, we probably should be more conscious of. But generally speaking, if you do want to stay feeling good, everything in moderation. Tip number 3 is about being aware of the ratios of your macronutrients that you're taking in, which I touched on before. That's proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And I want to give you guys sort of an example of a daily diet of something that would look like that I would do while I'm on tour. So, for example, I bring protein powder, and I also bring a bag of oats with me on tour. That way I know that first thing in the morning, every morning, I know that I'm getting at least 1 portion of protein for the day and at least 1 portion of complex carbohydrates. This combination not only helps me to wake up, but it also gives me long-lasting energy throughout the day. And often enough, it might be the most healthy meal I'm getting all day.
Finding places to eat on tour, it can be very sporadic. So often we're just grabbing protein bars or something from a gas station. Not every gas station has the same protein bars, but that's why I got to maybe check the label real quick and look at the macros on the back. We try to look for things that are high in protein, but sometimes it's really difficult and you just have to make a choice between a couple of different foods that are in this gas station, and you just want to find the one that will benefit you the most. So we hit diners a lot too. When we go to diners, we typically get breakfast type of food, something that has eggs in it. maybe some sort of meat.
Something as simple as eggs, bacon, and toast will have the 3 macronutrients that you need. Eggs is the protein, bacon's the fats, and then toast is the carbohydrates. So it's as simple as that. Those are basically the 3 things that you need. It can be really easy to get carried away with eating local fare, especially like pizza, foods that are high in sugar and fats. These are kind of things you want to watch out for. When you get caught up in the local fare, it can be really easy to sort of forego your diet in favor of foods that taste good but might not necessarily be good for you. So if you are interested in living a healthy lifestyle, you have to be mindful of sticking to your diet if you do decide to have one, and being conscious of the things that you put into your body and how they will affect you.
There is so much more you can do with your nutrition and your macronutrients. You can look into that stuff with apps like MyFitnessPal, but that's something you would want to do on your own time. If it's one of your first tours or early on in your touring career, at the end of the day, eat well, feel well, so that you can play well and you don't feel terrible away from home. Tip number 4 is drink a lot of water and stay very hydrated. For example, right now, we are out in California. It is hot as heck, and we need to constantly be drinking water. We always have cases of water in the van all the time. I think some of us drink like 5 bottles of water without stopping. Another thing that I just want to bring up, and I've talked to some of the guys about, is if you look at some of the research, water alone isn't terribly hydrating. So if you go into a rest stop and you see one of those Life Waters or whatever that kind of stuff is, try to look for something or a sports drink that has electrolytes in it, because you're going to be wiped after a show or after a long day of traveling.
I know that for a lot of bands, coffee can become a crutch, but it is important to know how dehydrating coffee is. So in the same way that they say, if you have an alcoholic drink, every other drink should be a water to stay hydrated. Same kind of goes for drinking coffee. You can become extremely dehydrated, and that is not going to make you feel good. It's not going to make you perform well. You're not going to get enough sleep because your internal clock will be completely out of whack.
Yeah, and it's not like you have to carry a gallon of water around like some big person in the gym. You just need to take in water, everyone. That's all. Just drink some water, stay hydrated.
And always remember to have water on stage before you play. Something that a lot of bands do, and we do, I just don't have it handy at the moment, is having a food bin with you. This typically is like peanut butter, bread, canned food, including like beans and vegetables, ramen noodles, anything like that that's not going to go bad in your van, especially if your van is sitting in the sun and it gets hot. It's good to have these sort of things with you because in a pinch you might need to cook a meal. I've seen bands take cooking equipment with them. You can get like a standalone hot plate, stuff that doesn't need to run on electricity or can run on the power of the van. You can have food with you that's ready to cook when you get back to wherever you're staying that night, whether it be your friend's house or your hotel room.
PB&J all day, baby. Because we're out here playing music, not trying to empty our wallets.
We like to bring a lot of granola bars, especially Cliff bars. For example, I love the Robert Irvine bar. Please sponsor me. It is about 30 grams of protein and about 30 grams of carbohydrates. That is basically a meal in a wrap for about $3. You can get it at just about any gas station. And it's very tasty.
Now we're just going to show you a real-life walkthrough of a scenario where we are stopping at a rest stop or a gas station, and we are looking for healthy foods to pick up to snack on. We're here at a rest stop. We often stop at rest stops on tour. There's always a section that has protein bars or something like a wellness bar. I try to stick with Cliff bars. I know Chris likes the Robert Irvine bars. It doesn't look like this place has one. Not a great selection here, but just try to pick a healthier option. You can go with your Pop-Tarts and candy, but a protein bar is always something that's closer to a meal replacement or something that's going to help you get your protein in. Usually every rest stop too is going to have some sort of energy drink for sale, maybe multiple energy drinks. Not everyone likes energy drinks, but if you need a boost before you work out or something to get you through the day, you got all these different brands. You got Rockstar, Monster, Bang. Bang is my favorite by far. It's basically like taking a pre-workout. And the most important thing is to take in plenty of water. As you can see here, rest stops are going to have water. If they don't, you're probably in a really bad place. I like to stick with waters that have electrolytes in them, like Essentia or Smart Water or Life Water even. You want something with electrolytes in it. And if you prefer a sports drink like Gatorade or Powerade, that's totally fine, but they're loaded with sugar, and something like that will really bother my stomach. So it's all preference.
If anything you saw or heard today you thought was beneficial or helpful, or you found out something new, feel free to subscribe down below. Also, if you have any questions specifically for us, leave us a comment below. And if you have any questions or suggestions of episodes you might want to see or things you might want to know, feel free to leave that in the comments section as well. And we hope you have a healthy
day.